Hello friends, this is Deepa Shah from ThinkQuotient. Today we are going to learn about OOPS concepts in Python. Now, object oriented programming software basically means is if you observe everything around us is an object, and to represent so every object, if we think of like chair, you take fan, you take mobile phone, you take laptop, everything is an object, and every object has got some characteristics and some behavior. So if you want to map this real world objects into software terms, we are going to make use of OOPS principle. Now basically class, so whenever we talk about OOPS, we have two concepts over here. One we can say is class, and what is object. Now class is a blueprint from which you can create object, or we can say it's a template from which we can create objects. An object is an instance of class. Now what does this mean is, see, whenever we want to construct a building or build a building, before the actual building gets constructed, the first thing is we prepare an architecture plan, and where we have all the specifications of the number of floors and different rooms and everything, all the specifications we have inside architecture plan. And after the plan is ready, then you construct the actual building. Okay, so over here the architecture plan, we can say it's like our class. Okay, so class, we can think of class as architecture plan, and the actual building which is created is like an object. So class is just a blueprint, or where we specify what will be the variables, what would be the behave functions we are going to write inside this class. And whenever you create an object, the actual memory gets allocated for all the variables which you have specified inside the class. So we can think of classes like a custom data type we are creating, composite data type we are creating over here. Now if we want to define a class in Python, we are going to make use of keyword class. Okay, class, and after class, what you want inside that class. Suppose I want to create a class called stud, okay, or student, and in this student class, now here below, down below, we are going to write different functions and instance variable, everything we are going to create. Now before creating or defining any method, so suppose I write over here def, and I just write over here display. Suppose I just write a single method over here, and if I pass a symbol parameter over here self and colon, and I just say print hello. Okay, so simply nothing I have done over here. I have just defined one method inside my student class, and now if I say s1 is equal to student and empty close over here. So see, now what all things we are doing over here is, and then I will say is s1 dot display. So we have defined a class, and inside this class, using def keyword, the way we define functions, we have created one method over here, and the name of method over here is display. This display method is taking one argument over here self. Now whenever you define any instance method inside Python, the first argument will always be self, or we can, instead of self, you can use any variable over here. Even if I use s, it's fine. Okay, but normally if you see any everywhere, you will see the use of self, because basically self means it is a variable, and what does this variable refers to? It refers to the current instance of your class. Okay, if you give any parameter, you must so if you want to assign any value, we'll make use of this self variable over here. So this display method is taking one argument over here, and that is self. But if you see over here in first line, what is this line means over here? So this is a function I have defined over here. The name of function is display, and this display function is inside student over here. Now to invoke or call this function, this is a we have to create an object. So how to create an object? This is my variable, reference variable name, it could be any variable name, is equal to the name of class and empty close bracket over here. Now when I write this way, actually init method is getting called over here, but I have not specified any init method over here, so the default will be called. And after that, on the object s1 dot display, so I'm using the object, and on the object using dot notation, I'm calling the instance method over here. Now if you see, I'm not passing any parameter over here, because the self parameter is implicitly passed by the Python interpreter. I did not pass it explicitly. This object reference is passed by the interpreter, so this self actually is holding the address. Which address over here? What S1 is pointing to. So if I run this, you will see what over here is hello. Now if you try to print over here along with hello, I try to print the ID of what over here is self. Now you use self, I'll just show you. Even if I remove self, that will not matter, and I'll just write over here print, and I'll write over here ID comma ID of S1. So if we run first run this student class and then this, so if you will see this ID 25, whatever is the ID 24 and this ID are exactly the same. So what is happening over here is actually in background we can think of that the function is getting called over here like this, student dot and the display function over here, and to the display function the first argument is the object, and that object the Python interpreter is passing over here S1, and that S1 is getting stored in self. So self always holds the address of currently invoking object over here. So S1, this address of S1 is getting passed over here in self. So if we check the ID of self and if we check the ID of S1, you can see both are same. Now this function is a instance function over here. Okay, so this function is basically a instance function over here. Now whenever we create an object, we have learned in many different languages like Java that or C++ that there is one thing called constructor. Okay, so we have a thing over here called constructor. So basically constructor is used to initialize the instance variable. So similarly in Python we have one method called def underscore init. Okay, so the method is def, okay, indentation, okay, def we'll write over here is underscore init underscore. This is a special method, so the naming convention underscore we say magic methods. So and the first argument over here is self. Okay, so the first argument over here will always be self, or instead of self you can use any variable over here. And suppose I write over here is SID, and suppose I write the next word over here is SName. And now this init method is taking three total in 3, but actually we'll pass 2 only. Now what I'll do is I'll write self dot SID is equal to SID, and then self dot SName is equal to SName. Okay, so what we are trying to do over here is we are trying to create an object over here. Okay, and now whenever we create an object in this way, if I do run this program now, you will see I'll get an error over here. Okay, first I need to just run this, shift enter, and now this. So you will see it is giving me error over here that the init method is missing 2 positional arguments over here. So whenever I create an object, okay, if you have written a init method inside your this class, that will be invoked automatically. It's like a constructor. If you don't write any init method, the default will be provided default. If you are writing a init method which is taking 2 arguments over here, then you have to pass 2 parameters over here. So first suppose I write over here S01 and the name over here is I write Om. Now if we check this, so you can see it has gone inside this init method over here. Okay, and now if I say display, so in display I have not displayed anything. So what we can do over here is now instead of writing this hello, I can just write self dot SName, student name. So again I'll run this and again I'll run this. So you can see hello Om, it's printing over here. So this is my init method which is getting called whenever you create an object. So if I just print over here, print in init. Okay, so init method is invoked implicitly by the Python interpreter to initialize your object. So if I run this and if I run this, so if I just remove this ID printing statement for now, okay, so we are just calling the method over here. So you can see it has first gone inside init method. In this method it has initialized these 2 variables SID and SName, and then hello, and along with hello I have written self.snm, so it's printing it. So if I forget over here snm, it will immediately, so if I only write snm, it will think it's a local variable and it will give me over here. So if I just run this again. Whenever you make a change, just rerun. And now if you check, it's giving me error over here. What is the error? SNM is not defined. So if you want to refer any instance variable inside your instance method, you have to use the word. Instead of self, you can use any word, but whichever variable you're using to receive the object reference, we have to write that same word over here. So if I write this way and again I rerun, so you can see now hello home over here, and I have not made use of self, I have made use of s, then also it's working perfectly fine. So this is my instance method, and if you see, I have not passed any thing inside this, because this s is nothing but the address of current object, this, and this will be or internally passed by Python interpreter over here. We don't have to pass it over here also. Now suppose in Python, we have three types of variables. Now first of all, let me tell this: instance, static and local. Now in instance means what? Anything which is different for every object. See, ID, name. Every per student will have a unique ID and you have some name over here. So these things are different per object. So these things we should declare it as what? Instance variables. So instance variable are those variables which are created. So whenever you create an object, memory will be allocated for these variables. Which variables? Instance. And static variables are those variables which are common for everyone. Suppose there is a common trainer over here. So the trainer for everyone is a common trainer over here. Suppose we write over here is Medha. So this trainer named Medha, she is a common trainer for all the students over here. And whenever you declare a variable after the class immediately over here at this level, it becomes a static variable over here. Static. So static variables are variables which are created only once and they are shared across all the objects. So these variables are created only once, and this variable created only once, and this single copy is referenced by all the objects over here. Whereas these two variables, okay, so whenever you define any variable after, so if a question is asked where to declare a static variable, so one place you can declare a static variable is immediately after the class over here. Whenever you declare a variable like this, it becomes a static variable. If you want to create an instance variable, so instance variable we can create inside constructor and inside instance block. So inside constructor, whenever you write self.sid, you are creating an instance variable name by name sid, and this is the value you are initializing over here. This is my second variable I am creating in the constructor, and this is the value that is getting assigned over here. So if we see over here, if I see the dict structure of my object, so if I write __ dict __, what we can see over here, these are my two instance variable over here, and this is a static variable over here, trainer name Medha, so that we can't see over here. Okay, so static variable is not inside the object. Okay, it is per class once. So if I want to refer to this static variable, I can directly say what over here is student, the name of the class, and directly the variable you want to access over here. So to access static variable, we will use name of class and the variable directly over here. And if I want to refer instance variable, I will say s1, the object reference dot snm. If I say over here snm, that is the name, you can get ohm over here. So to refer to instance variable, we have to tell of which object. See, these are the variables snm, sid, they are created per object. So inside this object, we can say over here, we have a thing over here is what? Inside this object, we have a thing. So inside this object, we have a thing over here called SID, and we have a thing over here is sname. So this is my first object over here. This is my second object. So whenever I create a second object, inside my second object, again I will have what over here? SID, instance variable will be created, and sname will be created. So instance variable are created per object, whereas static variable will be there only once over there in the memory. Trainer name, and trainer name is Medha over here, and this single variable which is there in the memory, all objects can share this common copy. So all these objects can share this common copy over here. Okay, so instance variable, because this name will be, suppose his ID is 1, his ID is 2, and suppose his name is Om and his name is Raj. So these two SID and SName are instance variable, whereas trainer name is what over here is static variable. So instance variable, to refer to instance variable will always require, so if you want to refer to this SID, okay, what you require, you will say S1 dot and then the SID over here. Okay, because it is inside the object, whereas to refer to the trainer name we don't require object, it is not inside any object, you will just say student dot trainer over here. Okay, now the another place where we can create instance variable is inside our instance method. So here also you can create a variable over here. So if I write over here s dot, suppose I write over here age is equal to something, I write over here 23, and if I just run this, and if I show you now, suppose what we can do is we can just rerun this, and now if you see the structure over here, you can see age variable is also created. So in Python you can create instance variable inside your init block, init method, inside your any instance method. Suppose I have one more instance method over here. Okay, now this is my instance method which is now taking some grade and will take some percentage. So there will be first argument will be self, or you can write any variable over here, and the second argument, suppose I write over here is percent. Okay, and I write over here colon. Now what we'll do over here is, so suppose I create a variable over here self dot percent is equal to, and I write over here is percent. So this is my local variable actually, and from the local I am shifting the data to my, I am creating, see inside this method, inside display I have created one instance variable called age. Over here I am creating this, and now if I want I can just check over here if self dot percent is greater than whatever you want to check 50 colon, I just print over here is pass. Okay, else colon print over here is fail. And now if I run this and I call display, and after display if I call over here is grade. Okay, now grade is taking two arguments. First is self, that I did not pass, I just need to pass the percentage over here. So if I pass percentage over here is suppose 59 assuming, or any number over here. So if we see now, so first it has gone inside init method, then the display method was called, and then the pass method was called. So when it went to init method it created these two variables, when it went to display method it created this one variable over here, and then this percentage variable. Now if we see this dictionary structure over here, you can see percentage is also created. Okay, similarly we can also create over here itself. So wherever you create an object, there if you want to attach a new instance variable like this, mobile is equal to some variable over here, I write something over here this way. Okay, now if I hit over here, and now if you check over here, here also we can see. So there are three places where you can create an instance variable: inside your init method, inside of any of your instance method wherever you want to create over here, and wherever you create an object using object name dot here also you can create. Similarly in Python you can also delete an instance variable. Okay, so delete, I am talking about delete. How to delete? Suppose I want to delete over here, what I want to delete is suppose age. So what will write the word del, that is delete from my S1 object. What to delete? I want to delete over here is suppose age. So when I say delete S1 age, okay, and now if I print the dictionary structure over here, you will see there is no age over here. So it is possible to delete a variable using del command. So del s1 dot age, it's deleting over here. Okay, so del you can delete instance variable over here. Now if I want to see, we have seen now this is my variable over here. Now how to create a local variable? Any variable which you define without any self keyword like this. If I write c equals to 10, okay, so this is what now my a local variable over here. So any variable which you are not using any self or something, this becomes a local variable over here. So if I try to print over here itself, I will be definitely able. So if along with init, if I print the value of c, let's see, just complete over here and go over here and run this. So you can see, no, in init c, you can see in init and 10 it's showing me over here. But if I try to print the value over here, it is definitely going to give me, if I write s dot c, there is no c because I have not written s, self I have not written over here, self dot c. So this is a local variable. If I try to access it in another method, definitely it won't allow me, it will give me error. okay, no attribute defined over here. So always remember, if you are creating any variable or trying to set any value to variable without using self or whichever key variable you have used over here, that variable is nothing but what? Local variable. By mistake, if I just forget to put over here self keyword, I have just written sid is equal to sid, then this is going to be, which variable over here is, it's going to be a local variable. So always we have to write the word self dot and accordingly shift the data. So this is the place where I create my static variable. Here I can create my instance variable or inside a instance method or down below. To delete, we can make use of del keyword over here. Now talking about different methods which we can write inside this is these three we see over here. This is basically my init method, that is like a constructor, and these two are my instance method because I have not annotated anything. Now in Python we have two types of method, okay, again. So we have is instance method, okay. So we have over here is instance method, instance, class and static. Now instance means, instance method is basically written to access the instance variable, modify them, update them, okay. So inside instance, the first argument will be the object reference, okay, that will be passed by your Python interpreter implicitly, so we need not specify. Now we have two things, one is class method we say and one is static method. Now class method is a method which is used to set the class level data, okay. So if you want a class method is basically a method which is bound to a class, okay, and this method receives the first argument as the class reference itself, okay. So and we use the decorator @class method means what? See, now I'll tell you what we do over here. So if I want to define a class method over here, how I'll write is def, and I'll write over here is change trainer. Suppose I write over here change trainer, okay, and I write over here is the first parameter will be, this is again just a variable, you can use any word over here, and I take over here is tnm, a variable over here, and colon, and then I say over here is cls dot trainer, so I'm referring this variable trainer inside this method over here is equal to, and I just say tnm. Now to make this method as a class level method, we have to use the decorator over here is class method, okay. So we have to use the decorator over here is class method. So what is a class method? Similarly we write a so what, see, this is a method which is going to receive the first parameter over here. If you see the first parameter, I have written cls and tnm. So this method basically receives the first argument, okay, receives the class as an implicit, the class, it will receive the class as an implicit first argument over here, and this method is basically used to, if you want to do any updation for class level data. So class level data means I'm talking about static data. So this static data, if you want to change or you want to update or you want to create a new, those all things we can write inside class method. So class method is basically used, we can say, to modify a class state, okay. So if you want to modify the state of your at class level or static data which we have created over here, we can do it over here. So now if we check over here is, I say print, and I say over here cls dot trainer, okay, and we hit this, and what we'll do over here is, now I'll just remove this del command over here and say, now to access the class, that is class annotated method, we will use student dot and directly the method over here, that is the name, it's to, because it's a static thing. For static we don't require any object over here, so we'll say student dot, what is the name of the method is change trainer, and suppose I say change trainer and I pass over here is some name, suppose I write some name over here is Kirti. And now if we hit this, okay, it's giving me error because of that C. I'll just run this and clear it up. Where I've used C over here, I'll just remove this. Okay, so we'll run this again and again. So now if you see, the trainer name has been changed. Even if I run this, you will see the trainer name is Kirti. So at the rate, so if you want to define a static method, it's not static, we'll say actually class level class method. Okay, so what is, see, we have two types of method over here. One more method we can have over here is, see, this type of method, def, and I say over here is addition. I write over here the name of method, and I write over here a comma b comma c and colon, and say I say print a plus b plus c. Now see, this method I'll annotate it at the rate static method. Okay, now what is the difference between class method and static method? Now class method, for class method, the first argument is, implicit argument is class, whereas these are all my three data which I am going to pass over here. Static method doesn't receive an implicit first argument. Okay, so there is no first argument. A, B, C, all these three are my data, and these three data I am going to pass. So static method is nothing but, we can say it's an utility method. Utility means, see, inside static block you won't be able to access instance variable directly or static method over here. So it is just a utility method over here, utility method. And in this utility method we don't get any implicit first argument. We don't receive any implicit first argument. Like, see, what we are saying is implicit. We don't receive, we can say over here, any implicit argument. Implicit argument means what? See, now what I am trying to say over here is, see, when we were talking about instance method, the first parameter was self, and that was passed implicitly. The first argument was the instance, and that was passed automatically internally by the Python interpreter. Similarly, in this method also, change trainer, whenever I annotate a method with class method, Python interpreter will understand that it has to pass the first argument is class instance reference over here. So the class class basically reference it is going to pass over here. So but whenever you annotate a method with we can say decorator, whenever you make use of decorator call, not annotate, use a decorator call static method. So now Python will understand that this is a method in which there is no implicit arguments. These are all three parameters which the user has to pass over here, and the purpose of this method, it is just a utility method written inside this class. So what does this mean is, if I want to invoke that method, what I'll just say is student, and just I say over here is addition. Okay, addition, and I just pass the parameters over here, 20, 20, 30, and I hit over here. Okay, it has given me error over here. Why error over here? Let me check. I'll just execute this. Okay, I'll create, anyway, object is not needed. So you can see it has got over, we have got the answer 60. Now over here, even if I miss one argument, so it is immediately going to throw an error over here. Okay, otherwise if you see in all other methods, the first parameter, we actually see init is taking 3 parameters, grade is taking 2 parameters, self and percentage, change trainer is also taking class, but I am just passing. See, for change trainer method it is taking 2, but I am just passing 1 because the first argument was passed implicitly. But for this addition, these 3 all are required explicit parameters we have to pass, because this is the method. Now Python knows this is just a utility methods. In this you can't access the instance or static data. This is written for some utility purpose. So this method is basically written for addition of 3 numbers. So it will take 3 numbers in input and give you the addition over here. So this type of thing, if you want to write any utility method, you are going to annotate it what? @static decorator we are going to use is @static method. And if you want to update or create, you can also create over here. Suppose I write over here CLS, and suppose I write over here is company mail or trainer mail. Suppose trainer mail I write over here, trainer mail ID or email I write over here, and I write over here is suppose thing quotient and something I write over here, or suppose something @gmail.com I write over here. Okay, so let's hit this. Okay, now there is no need also of this creating an object, but let it be. Now if I write over here is student, okay, dot. What's the variable name over here is ThinkQ, I feel. So I've created trainer mail. Okay, trainer email. Trainer email, and if you print it, you will see it. So which all are the places where you can create a static variable? Over here you can create it, over here also you can create it. Okay, and inside your instance block, if you want to create it, then you should write over here is student. Suppose I want to create a one instance variable called c equals to 0. So this is also the way. So directly you write the name of class and dot c, so it becomes a static variable over here. So if I just run this, okay, and now if I go and check over here is student dot, and if I press, you can see c is also there over here. So if I just press c and run it, it's giving me 0. Okay, so inside your class you can have what all things we can have is, this is a method which is invoked implicitly. This is like a constructor, we can say. The first argument is always the current invoking object, current object actually, and these are the parameters which we need to pass. We are never going to pass this first parameter over here. This is the implicit argument which the Python interpreter is going to pass. Now this is my instance method, and this is also again my instance method. In this instance method, if you want to refer to any instance variable which is created over here, or you want to create new, we are always going to use this variable, first variable whichever we have, that is self.percent, and then do whatever we want to do. Then the variable which I have created over here immediately after the class, this is my static variable. So one place you can create a static variable is over here. The second place is inside this @class method decorator, wherever we have used. Inside this you can create, one way is this, and the third is inside instance. If you want to create, we can write this way also, student.c. So here also you can write, over here also you can write. You can also delete an instance variable using del command. Okay, you can create instance variable over here down also using student dot something, you write over here also we can create. So this is basically about how we have oops in Python. Now how we implement a class and all the methods inside a how we implement methods and how we create instance variable inside a class. Now talking further, if we think of suppose I write a class this way, so do we have a concept called overloading in Python? So suppose I write a class over here called p1. Now let's check. If I write two methods over here, def, suppose I write add, and this add will take only one parameter over here, self, and suppose I write over here a comma b, or I don't pass anything over here, just write print in addition. Because in many languages, what is overloading basically means so polymorphism basically means is one name many forms. So one of type of polymorphism we have is compile time polymorphism, which means overloading. Okay, overloading means in a class, if you have more than one method with same name but different signature, is called as overloading. So basically means, the way we can relate this to real world scenario is, a person when he is at home, he is either a brother, sister, or mother, father, but when he is in his office, he is a employee over there, or when he is with his friends, he is a friend. When he goes to doctor, he becomes a patient. So accordingly he behaves. So similarly what we are doing over here is, now I am implementing this method over here which takes two arguments, and this is going to perform over here addition. And if I write over here print, and I write over here in, I just write add, and not in, I'll not write in add, suppose I write, okay, add two arguments, I'll write over here two arguments. So we'll come to know it's in two arguments method, and we print the addition over here. So if I just write a plus b over here, okay, so let's run this. And now if I create an object over here, because these are my instance with the method which receives the first argument as self, so I'll just create over here. Now I have not written init method, that will be given by my interpreter, so just defaultly it will be provided. So now if I write ob.add and I don't pass any parameter, so if I don't pass any parameter, it means I have to call, I'm trying to call this method over here, but if you will see, it will immediately throw an error. Okay, so even though I have written two methods, overloading is a concept which is not supported in Python. Okay, so even though we can see this is my first definition for add and this is my second definition for add, but only the second definition. So in a flow, if I delete this, so if I run this now and if I run this again, I create an object and I keep it over here, this will work perfectly fine in add. But if you have more than one definition for with the same name, so whichever is the last definition, that becomes the valid definition over here. So now if I run this, okay, now if I run this, and now if I run this and show you, so it's giving me error. So it's saving that, it's telling that you have to pass two positional arguments. That is, if I pass over here 10,90 over here and hit, then this will work. So it is now whenever I want to call add method, this last definition which I have written, that is the definition it will try to find out and call. It will not take this definition over here even though we have written. So overloading is not supported over here. Okay, what we can do over here is, so we can get that behavior. So we can do is, basically what we can do over here is we can just make this two arguments to 0 default arguments. So now even if I don't pass any argument, it's perfect to see. Even if I pass this argument, it will work, and even if I remove this argument, so if I just say ob.add, this is the way you can do the give the feel over here. Okay, my mistake, something went wrong, let me hit this again. Okay, let me create the object again. So this is my first method which worked perfectly fine, and this is my second method. Okay, so this same method, so even if I'm not passing any argument, the same method is getting invoked because the default value of a and b is set to 0 over here. Okay, now how do we have inheritance? Now what is inheritance? OOPS principle we have is encapsulation. So encapsulation basically is binding the data members and member functions into one unit, which we are doing inside class. So the functions and the data we are binding together is called as what? Encapsulation. Then polymorphism we have. Polymorphism means one name many forms. In that we don't actually directly, we can't say overloading is supported over here. Okay, now let's see whether we have overriding. And one more thing is we have is inheritance. So inheritance basically means is inheriting the properties from your parent class. Okay, so the advantage over there is reusability. So now let's see what are the different types of inheritance we have in Python. So in Python we have is single level, then you have is multi-level. Okay, so all we have over here is single level, then you have is multi-level. Okay, then you have is hierarchical. Okay, hierarchical, and you also have multiple supported over here. Okay, so let's see what are this now and how we write a code over here. Suppose I have a class over here is parent. Okay, a class named parent over here, and this parent class has got one function. Now I'll just define one function over here. Suppose I write over here is def underscore init underscore, and the first argument over here is self, and print in parent init. Okay, and then I write over here is def suppose m1, and the first argument over here will be self. Okay, and print in parent m1. Okay, so this is my parent class. Now if I want to create a child class, I will write class child. Okay, and now I want this child to inherit all the properties of this parent class named parent. So how we do it is we put round brackets, and here we write the parent word. So now we are telling Python that for this child, this class called child, the parent class is which over here, the name parent. Now instead of parent you can use any name over here. Suppose I want to use P, it's perfectly fine. So just you should not get confused. Okay, I'm using parent. Okay, just will write P over here, and this over here is P. And now suppose I define a method over here is void m2. Okay, and now what we do is print in m2. So this is child specific behavior over here. Now what we'll do is we'll create an object over here. So C is equal to child. Okay, I'm creating object of child and empty close. Now what we have learned is that whenever we create an object, by default the init method is invoked, but we have not written any init method inside our child class. Now let us see what is happening over here. So what we can see over here is it has called whose init method? Parents init method. So if there is no init method inside your child class, then through inheritance this parent method is inherited in the child class over here. So that is called over here. So whenever you create an object, always it is going to search for init method. So if you have written a init method over here this way, see, if I have written one init method over here this way, okay, and I write over here self and colon, and if I write over here print, and I write over here in child init, okay, and if I run this, and now if I create, so if I see previously it was calling parents init because I had not written. Now if I call, you will see it has gone in child's init method. So always remember, whenever you create an object init method, it is trying to find a method called init. If you have written in your child class init method, then your method will be invoked. If you have not written, then it will try to call it from your parent class, that is this method over here. Now if I try to call c dot m1 over here, now m1 method child has not defined over here, okay, so child has not defined over here. So if just I try to call, it will get me the method from my parent class, and you can see in parents m1. Now if I try to call c dot m2 over here, definitely there won't be any problem. It's giving me what over here is error. Why? Because over here it's not taking any, also I have not written self word over here, so it's giving me over here. So let me do it. Let me create first, second and third over here. So it is takes 0 positional argument, but 1 was given. So as I have not declared this method as which method? Static method over here. So it was passing 1 positional argument, self word. See, internally whenever I call m2 on object reference, it was passing self argument, but it was taking how many arguments? 0. So we need to correct over here. So this is the thing we'll do, and over here is again I'll rerun this. So now it has gone in m2 also over here. Now if I see, what is overriding is basically, if you have, see, by inheritance all the methods of your parent class are inherited in child, but if you want to re-implement any parent given method, so the method which is there inside your parent class, if you want to re-implement, you want to re-implement it according to your own way, so we can write again the definition over here. So this way, so self, and now if I write over here is print, that is over. So I'll write over here is in m1 of child. Okay, so now if you see, I have m1 method in my parent also and in my child also. This is parent specific and this is my child specific. So if I show you both the classes over here, both the classes parent and child are having init method over init and m1, and here we have init m1 and m2. But when I call c dot m1 over here, now it will first try to find out in child. If it's there in child, it will call child's method. So now it's there in child. Okay, no, what has happened? Let me first run this, shift enter again over here, and now if I'll try to call over here, so it has gone in child specific method. So whenever you try to invoke a method, first it will find in the current class of which we have created object. If it's not there, then it will go to its parent class. Okay, now if you see over here, whenever I call my init method or wherever I call my m1 method over here, what I want to do is I want to call parent class init method also, or we can say child class parent class init or m1 method. So what we can do over here is we can write the super empty close, we'll write over here dot, and here we are going to write is underscore init. Okay, underscore and empty close over here. So what will happen is whenever we'll try to create child's object, it will try to look for init method in the child. It will get it over here, and from child's init method, the first argument if you see over here is super empty close underscore underscore init. So from here you are trying to call parent class init method, so it will go over there. That will first execute. Let's check over here. So if I run this, so you can see it has gone inside parents init and then in child's init. Similarly, if I want to here call parent class which method, m1 method, same way, super empty close and dot, and we will write over here is m1 empty close. Now if I run this over here, is what we see over here is this way, and I run this, so it's this way, and when I call m1 you will see it has gone inside. So if you want to call parents any specific method in your child class, we can do over here is super empty close and dot and the name of method over here. Okay, now let's see what are the types of inheritance supported in Python. So in Python, first we saw this is single level, so this is my parent over here and this is my child over here. Now what is multi-level is basically, so multi-level is we have grandparent, parent and child. Suppose I create one more class over here, class child, suppose I write over here child 2 something over here. Okay, and now the parent for this is child. Okay, suppose something I create a class, suppose instead of child I'll just write C2 over here, and the parent for this is what, child. So this is what now over here is, so I'll just write over here pass. Okay, simply pass I'm writing over here, I'm not writing any definition. Now if I create an object over here this way, C2, now in C2 we don't have init method, so whose init method it is going to call? Its immediate parent. So who is its immediate parent over here is child, and child's method if you see internally is calling over here which method over here, parents init method, so it is getting called over here. If I remove this super, then parents init won't be called. Okay, so what is multi-level is basically you have, this is the grandparent over here, we can say this grandparent is, this is the parent over here, and for this parent again this is the child over here. So what I have written is class C2, and in round brackets I am specifying over here who is the parent over here. So this is what over here, this is multi-level. So what is multi-level basically is, multi-level means you have is A. Okay, you have a class called A, and you from A you have a child class called B, and this B class we have again a child class over here is C. So we have a level over here. So this is my grandparent. Okay, we can say over here this is my parent, and this is my over here what, child. So this level you can see, so C is we can say inheriting from B, and B is inheriting from AA. So indirectly all the properties of A will also be available to whom, C. The way we also get our characteristics of a grandparent and parent both, similarly over here this child C2 will have all the methods and functions of your parent and child class over here. So that's what we can say over here is this is multi-level. So we are having 3 levels, and this way the level can extend. Now what is hierarchical is, hierarchical means from a single parent if you have 2 child. Okay, from a single parent if you have 2 child, 2 or more child, we can say it's what, hierarchical means what, instead of writing now over here this way, what if I write over here is P. So what means this means is this class P is parent of this class, P is parent of this child. Okay, suppose I say over here is child or child, this child class also, this is parent, I have written in round brackets parent, and over here also I have written P. So this P, so this 2 classes, which 2 classes I will talk about over here is, so this 2 classes means from P we have derived 2 classes over here. One is by the name child over here, okay, and another is by what, C2. So C2 and child दोनों का parent, common parent कौन है, P है. So this is hierarchical. From a single parent if you are deriving multiple childs, it is called what, hierarchical. Then what is multiple? This is, see, this is multi-level, this is hierarchical. Then what is multi-level? Multiple, sorry. So multiple means basically what is, we have from A and B. Okay, from A and B you have a child called C. For means C is C is inheriting, or C has got two parents, we say A and B. This thing is called as what? Hierarchical. This is called as what? Multiple. So in Java it's directly not allowed, but in Python it's allowed. So if I do over here called class, and I write over here what we are trying to do now over here is, suppose I write the word multiple itself. Okay, multiple, I don't know multiple is a keyword or what. So what I'll write over here is class D, and class D is extending from which two classes? So the two classes are, suppose I say over here is C2, and I say over here is what? C, which is the next class over here is child. Okay, and I just put colon over here, and now if I define a method over here, def, I write a method over here called m5, suppose, which is taking one argument over here self, and print over here m5. Now what I'll do is I will just rewrite these classes. Suppose I have m1 method over here also, in this class also. Okay, and I'm just removing this super.m1, I don't want, and I write in m1 of child 2. Okay, and this I'll write in m1 of child 1, and here also I'm removing the implicit call over here. So these are my two classes which I have written over here. I'll just remove the super call. Just let us check. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll just copy. No, I'm not writing the 1 minute. So this is my first class over here. Okay, I'll just write this to all three classes over here. This is my first class. Okay, this is my second class, and this is my third class over here. So I'll just remove this whole thing from here. Whatever we have done, I'll just have. So these are my two classes, child 1. This is child, suppose I write over here is child 2. Whatever we can write over here. And this is, instead of now I need to change it. Child 1 and child 2. So now I have recreated everything over here. So what we can see is, this is my class child C1. Child 1, child 2, and this D class has got now two parents, child 1. So if you want to specify multiple classes for multiple inheritance, we are going to write comma over here. And now if you see over here is, if I run this class, okay, and I create an object over here, ob is equal to D empty close. Now in D class we don't have init method. Okay, now child 1, if you see, child 1 has got init method and child 2 not. So definitely it is going to call over here from child 1, no problem. So it has gone in child init over here. Now if I have this same init method over here also, okay, so if I have, now whenever you have multiple inheritance, so in multiple inheritance we have a diamond problem. So what is a diamond problem basically is, so in your whenever you are inheriting from two parents, the thing is, it could be possible that the method is there in both the classes. Okay, so if you see m1 method over here, suppose I make this also, this m1 method is there inside your child 1 also and child 2 also over here, and this init method is also there in both the classes. Now if I try to call run this, and if I try to create an object over here, you will see it has gone in child 1 init. So it has not invoked this init over here. Why so? So whenever there is ambiguity, that is there are two methods in both the parents, if you have a common method over here, then it is the method resolution will be done in the order in which you have done inheritance. So over here I have written first child 1 and then child 2 over here. So first it will try to find out the method in child 1, and if it's not there in child 1, then it will call which method over here, child 2. So first it is trying to find init method in child 1, and as it was there in child 1, so this got execute. Now if this method was not there over here, suppose I delete this method over here, I do control and just I run this, shift enter, and now if you see, as it's not there in child 1, it should go in child 2 over here. Let me run. Okay, I have just written both places child 2. Okay, I'll just unshare 2, I'll keep over here also. Let's check first. Okay, I'll just rerun this code and rerun this code again. So you will see it has gone in child 1 in it. And if I remove this definition from here for temporary, if I remove this definition, and now if I rerun this, and now if I show you this, you can see it has gone in child 2 in it. Similarly, if I try to call a method over here, ob.m1, now you can see the problem we always have in diamond problem is that in multiple inheritance, what happens is this method is present in both class, m1 method. Okay, so in Java we say then there is an ambiguity, so which method to call. So in Python, how it resolves it, so whenever you are inheriting the order, method resolution is done in the order which you specify. So if I have written first child 1, and if the method is present in both the classes, it will try first call of which m1 method over here. So it has gone in m1 over here. If I rechange the order over here, suppose I just remove this over here and I put child 2 as first and child 1 as second, now you will see it will execute all the methods of child 2 first. So it has gone in child 2's in it because now it's there anyway, it's not here. And you can see m1 method also, now it has gone in child 2, it has given more preference first to the first parent. So whichever is the first parent written in order over here, accordingly it will try to execute over here. So first it will try to find in this parent, and if not in this parent, then it will go over here. Okay, so this is the way in multiple inheritance, the way we have ambiguity, that is resolved over here. So the method resolution order is decided, so the method is resolved according to the order in which you specify over here. Okay, and you also have hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance basically means is, if this is the thing we have till now over here, so this, if this, we draw this structure this way, is you have a parent over here A, of A if you have 2 child, that is B and C, and from B and C, that is combination of hierarchical plus multiple, that is D. This is also called as diamond problem over here. So B and C have a common parent called A, that is, this is which type of inheritance we have learned is, it's hierarchical. And from B and C you have D over here, so it is combination of hierarchical plus multiple, and this thing is also called as what, hybrid. So hybrid is also possible over here. So this is about inheritance in Python. So inheritance, the advantage of inheritance is code reusability. So if there is already some code written, if you want to create a new class from generalization to if you want to move to specialization, so if there is already some code written, so you can reuse the same code in your child class. How we use it? So in Python we write in round brackets, we specify the name over here. In Python we have multiple single, we have multi-level inheritance, then you have hierarchical inheritance, that is from single parent multiple child, then you also have multiple and hybrid. Multiple basically means is if you have multiple, so the order in which you specify the class names over here, first it will always give preference to the first class in the order, and if not, it will not get over here, then only it will go to the second class. Okay, so that is the way it resolves, method resolution is done over here. So this is all about the OOPS concepts we have in Python, everyone. So hope you have understood everything. Okay, so practice, and thanks a lot.